Welcome to Thoughts Off the Stem. I'm Justin Barone, and today we're smoking Pink Kush. I like it. I like Pink Kush a lot. Any kind of Kush, really. I know Purple Kush is my favorite. Kush is what I always talk about. But I do like the Kushes. Apparently, that's what I've been into lately. So I don't know if you like the Kush, but hopefully you do, because I just smoked a nice big hit of Pink Kush, and whoo, man. So this episode, I figured that we would talk about greenouts, because I had one recently, and it was hilarious. As I get older and smoke more, you know the onset of it. If you don't know what a greenout is, I don't know if you ever heard this, but there's a tape that went around online, or a recording of an off-duty cop who had, I guess, either bought weed himself when weed wasn't legal, or I guess isn't legal there. I think it was in New Jersey. Anyway, he and his wife had got this weed, and they ended up baking brownies, but they ended up eating too much of the brownies because they couldn't tell what the dosage was. So they end up calling the police to come pick them up because they think that they're dying. It was fucking hilarious. Anyway, that if you're not sure, that's a greenout. A greenout is kind of like the same as when you're drinking and then you start to lose it, like you get to that blackout stage. The only difference with the greenout is that you're not gonna die. Although, for a very long time, or at least it feels like an eternity, when you're greening out, it feels like you are going to die. So just so you know, you're not. It's essentially the equivalent of a panic attack. If you don't know what a panic attack is, sorry. I mean, good for you, because that's awesome. You don't know what a panic attack is. But I know what a panic attack is, and it's the exact same feeling. You feel like everything is shutting down, your body's shutting down, and you can't do anything about it. Well, it's not. That's not what's happening. You're just freaking the fuck out. So these guys freaked the fuck out. So, I don't know. I was thinking about that the other day, and I thought, you know what? Why not do an episode where we talk about greenouts? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about greenouts. And I'm going to give you, I guess, what are my top 3 greenouts, so that you know what the experience is, or at least is like, and you can prepare yourself for it, because no matter what, it's the same as booze. At some point, you drink too much. Well, at some point with weed, you're going to smoke too much, eat too much, consume too much, whatever the deal is. So, let's talk about my very first greenout. Happened when I was at a house party when I was in university. Nope, that's a lie. My very first greenout happened when I was in university. I went to York U. I hooked up with this girl who had smoked weed. I was a novice weed smoker. I didn't smoke that often. I just started getting into it. I think I was maybe 18. Yeah, I was 18 at the time. Anyway, so she takes me down to the quad with her friends. And we sit around in a circle of like 4 people. It was me, her, and I guess this friend of hers and her boyfriend. So we're standing around smoking this weed, and I'm trying to impress this girl, so I'm being all macho and like, no, I can take it, I got it, don't worry about it, I can handle it. That was my kind of attitude going in. Well, at this point, I was only smoking weed maybe like once a month, and apparently the shit I was getting before this incident was garbage in comparison. Because, damn, I smoked this shit. I tell you what, I smoked like 5 hits. They rolled a fucking 3 paper. I smoked 5 hits of this shit. Next thing I know, we go up the elevator, because I was in a residence at university where it was like an apartment complex. It was really high. It was a downtown area. Anyway, so I'm on like the 14th floor. They were on the 7th floor. So we take the elevator. As I'm on the elevator, I'm like, oh, I just got to go grab a couple drinks and things from my room, and I'll meet you back in your room. That did not happen. I did not meet anyone anywhere. I got to my room, I laid down on my bed, and essentially I passed out. But the fucked up thing, because this is the first time I'd ever greened out, so I didn't realize this shit happened. was that the fucked up thing was, okay, so I'm lying on the bed. My eyes are closed. I'm on my stomach, face down, head turned to the right side, because the right side was like the center of the room. Again, eyes are closed. My arms are sprawled out. One's wedged up against the wall on the one side. The other one's flopping around on the floor, essentially off the bed on the floor. I'm out fucking cold, but I can hear everything that's happening. I can hear the 10 people in my room drinking, having a great time, making fun of me, and I can't respond because I'm so goddamn high. So as I'm lying there, I'm like in and out of passing out. Sometimes I hear them, sometimes I don't. But then people start talking to me, and anytime anybody started talking to me when I was all fucked up, I could hear them and I could understand everything they were saying. I just couldn't communicate in any way. I was like, it was like, okay, now this is gonna sound bad, but I don't mean it in a mean way, okay? But it's got to be what it feels like to be paralyzed, because you can't do anything, you can't express yourself. I mean, I couldn't even talk. Anyway, the girl that we had smoked, the girl I was dating, or trying to date, I guess, we had smoked weed. She came up like 40 times to try and get me to come downstairs. I apparently was able to respond to her. She jumped on me a bunch of times. Nothing. I passed the fuck out. It was like 8 o'clock at night. I passed the fuck out until the next day at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay? That weed wasn't laced with anything. It was just straight up weed. It was just the strongest weed I'd ever had, and I'd never smoked anything like that. It was insane. So, guess what the lesson is out of this is be aware of how much you can handle. Be aware of what you're getting. Take it slowly. Don't be macho. And yes, I mean that for women too. I don't care. Man, woman, dude, chick, whatever. Do not get macho with weed. It will, like Mother Nature and Mother Earth, will put you in your motherfucking place. And it will do it fast. That was the first time I ever greened out. I came out of it, I was fine the next day, perfectly fine, no problems, nothing. Well, other than, being a little bit slow and maybe kind of hungover. But a hangover from that shit is not the same as when you do it too much with booze. You just kind of, you cruise through the day, but you lay on the couch, let's be fucking honest. You don't want to do anything, your body's spent, whatever, it's the same. But it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. You're just slow and tired and groggy. So for those of you that have never greened out, that's what it feels like. And in the moment, honestly, don't worry. Just keep reminding yourself that you're going to be fine. You just have to get through it. You're going to be fine. You'll be okay. All right. Now, the second worst green out I had. This is a few years ago. And I was smoking hella weed. Way too much weed. I shouldn't have been smoking this much weed. I'll be fucking honest with you. So, I smoke in the garage because that's my fucking man cave. Get down with it. But but to go into my house, you have to take 3 steps up. There's a platform, and then another 3 steps up, and there's another platform to the doorway. You go in the doorway, and then there's a platform, and there's steps down to the basement or steps up to sort of the main floor. Well, I didn't realize this, but I hadn't eaten all day. When I got home from work, which was like, I think it was like 11 o'clock at night. When I got home from work, I had my ritual. Came in, grabbed a glass of water, went outside, opened the garage, went outside, sat down. I was sitting there, had a cigarette, loaded up the bong. Next thing I know, it was like 2 hours later. Again, I hadn't eaten, forgot that I hadn't eaten. I don't know, I must have been a busy day. So I forgot I hadn't eaten. Now, I go to stand up. It didn't work. Like, okay, literally, I tried to move my body in a forward motion towards the ceiling of the garage. Nothing happened. My legs, all of a sudden I was very aware of my legs, and they were rubber. I traded my human legs for apparently some kind of beta rubber testing leg situation, because I couldn't even get my ass off the seat. So I realized what was happening, and I started taking in a couple deep breaths. Okay? Well, after about like 10 minutes of that, I figure I can fucking handle this. I got it. No problem. So I stand up. Well, you know when you stand up really fast and you get a head rush? Imagine having that happen in the middle of a green out, knowing that you're greening out, fighting it just to get inside so that when you do green out, you can lay on the rug. No, I didn't even have a rug then. Sorry, on the floor, on a hardwood floor. That was cool because it was the summertime, so it was nicer on the floor. And realizing, oh shit, I just did the wrong thing by standing up. That's all I did, was stand up. So I grab the wall. I start walking forward. Now, as you get out of my garage, there's a little like concrete cubby that holds the garbage where they pick it up every day, and it's a little ledge. So I get to that, and I'm at the edge of the ledge, looking, going, shit, I gotta walk upstairs now. So I turn and I try to hoist myself up the first stair. I just about shot myself face first into the top stair because way too high. That's what greenouts do. They take away all your energy, and then everything feels like it's going away, and you're going to smash, but it'll feel like you just melt right into the floor. So I finally get up the stairs. Now, that's 3 stairs on the bottom, a platform I had to navigate with wobble legs over here, and then 3 more steps and another platform. Also, on that platform is 2 doors, a screen door and my door. Okay? So I have to get the screen door open, which is stuck, and my legs do not work. You know Mr. Bean? You know how he does that whole like hold on to stuff with wobbly legs? I think it was one of his sketches where he was at like a dentist's office and he had Novocaine and he tried to stand up and he was all wobbly and weird. Anyway, I was like that, but holding on to a brick wall and a screen door that moved, that swung open, okay? I couldn't stay straight to save my fucking life. Now, with a green out, it's much like being way too drunk, where everything is just moving like waves on the ocean, man. And the next thing I know, I'm in the door. No, I'm not. I go down in the middle of the doorway, over the threshold. I'm out cold. Wake up 2 seconds later, boom, stick my head up, because the bottom of my screen door is covered solid. The middle is a screen, and the top is a piece of glass. So luckily, it was late enough at night. But I look up, nobody saw. So I I army roll into the landing inside the house, where I have the option to go to the basement or to the upstairs. If you have ever had a greeting, you will know that the downward option is obviously the better option, because you can make your way down there on your stomach if you have to. Okay? However, my stairs are tile with metal edgings. So no sliding down the stairs for Justin. Nuh-uh. Instead, I have to wobble my wobble legs all the way downstairs. And I spent the next half hour soaking my face in water, which again, by the way, really helps. Run the tap, freezing cold, okay? And just keep dousing your face with water and taking sips. That's what I find works the best to get through a green out. Especially if you know it's coming. If you can make it somewhere, like a bathroom or a kitchen that can help you out, and you can lay down and just like throw water on your face and be in a cool place, that's perfect. But don't lock the door, because you need people to help, just in case. But I'm telling you, I'm sure you'll be fine. Unless you have some crazy underlying disease that you didn't tell anybody about. And then in that case, if you smoke weed, you better have a buddy anyway. And if you have a crazy underlying disease that you didn't tell anybody about, why are you smoking weed? Okay. So that was number 2. That one sucked balls. Number 3 was, it wasn't as dramatic as the last 2. It was a little straightforward. I didn't have the kids for a weekend, and I got a little overexcited. I came home from work on a Friday. I was sitting around having a few drinks. I had eaten. At least that time I had eaten. That was good. Oh, and another thing, speaking of eating, if you do go through a green out, one of the best things that you could do for yourself is grab yourself some sugar. Because it helps your blood pressure bounce back up, I believe. Don't quote me on this, you can look into it. But I found at least that when I have green outs now, if I have a chocolate bar or something, it helps. And I'm not diabetic. I know because I've been tested for all the stuff. Anyway, so the point is that, yeah, you got to figure out ways to divert the green out if you can. Also, try not to go that far. But sometimes you don't know you went that far until it's too late. So, okay. So, the third green out. I was at home. Kids were away for the weekend. I just got home from work. I sat down, smoked a big doob. I think it was a couple hours later, I was watching a movie, and I just started hitting the bong like crazy. Like, I didn't realize it at the time, but it was like every 20 minutes or so, I would take a bong hit and then load it up again and take another bong hit, another bong hit, another bong hit. Now, whatever I was smoking at the time, I know was at least a 27 to, 30-something THC content. So it was already a high content. It was an indica. Indicas tend to put me into the green out space a lot easier because, like I said before, you lose a sativa doesn't, it's a head high. So you don't lose complete control of like what you're doing. You don't necessarily feel like body sensations like floaty arms and floating limbs and like, feel like you're walking on clouds. But an indica will do that. So indicas for me, because I have a hard time giving up control, and I know this, will sometimes put me in that space, especially if I smoke a lot of it and too quickly. And if I combine an indica weed with beer or booze of any kind, then it can potentially send me down that path quicker. So I got to watch what I'm doing. So know what you're doing. Anyway, so I was at home. I'd smoked a shit ton of weed. and I don't know. I don't know how much I smoked. Again, I don't know what I was smoking, but I know the content was high. The THC content was high. And I was sitting in my bathrobe, and it was pretty early on in my separation. So I was already adept, you could say, to, spending at least one night a week getting through a bottle of scotch or whiskey. And I guess this night I decided to have too much weed, too much whiskey, too much beer. Next thing I know, I'm on the ground. This time I still didn't have a carpet. Oh, I had a pillow. So I had a fuzzy pillow that I put on the ground, and I flopped on the ground, threw off the house coat, and laid there for hours, rubbing my cheek on this fuzzy pillow. Anyway, as you get older, you get more adept at dealing with these things. Green out specifically, especially when you know it's coming. And if you know it's coming, there are ways to fight it off, and you just have to pay attention. Like anything in life, you got to pay some fucking attention to what's going on. Because if not, you'll end up either face down in a doorway, half naked lying on a bathroom floor, throwing water on yourself, like a puppy, I guess, drinking out of the toilet, or just face down, ass up in a furry pillow in the middle of your living room. I mean, they're always good stories at the end of the day, but to be honest, they're not fun at the time. So like I said, when you have a green out, just be prepared that it feels like the world is ending. and there's nothing that you can do to stop it. And there isn't, but the world is not ending. So don't worry. Just keep telling yourself you'll be fine and you get through it. I have a ton of other green out stories that are pretty good, but those were probably my most memorable times, only because I woke up in weird positions, scrunched up against stuff that I wouldn't normally end up scrunched up against. So watch what you're doing with edibles, anything, whether you're smoking it, however you ingest it. Just be careful, take it slow, take a couple puffs at a time. So that's the episode for today, the green out. Join me every Friday at 4:20. I'm Justin. You can catch us on Instagram. You can catch us. You can catch me on Instagram at Thoughts Off the Stem. Thoughts_off_the_stem. Also find me on Twitter if you want to follow along. Leave some comments. Tell me what you think. Do you like it? I don't know. All I'm doing, like I've said before, is spitting into the void and seeing if anybody listens and enjoys it. So you can find me on those two places. Other than that, again, join me at Friday. Join me Fridays at 4:20 for new episodes.